Hi everybody, this is BigPapaGrump from the Board of Doom, and this is my predictions and preview video for the 2020 edition of WWE's Royal Rumble. Full disclosure, I have no idea what's going on. Like, I'm watching, still have no idea what's going on. So, yeah, it's going to be a little weird one. We'll start with Shorty G versus Sheamus. I don't care. I really don't. I hate the Shorty G gimmick. I'm happy Sheamus is back because, I like Sheamus. I'm just going to pick Sheamus to go over just because I'm hoping this is like a one-off thing and he goes on to something else. Or if they're going to prolong this, let Shorty G get his butt whipped. And then he can build towards it or something, maybe a gimmick change. But I'm picking Sheamus to win this one. Okay, Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin in a Falls Count Anywhere match. This is going to inevitably end up involving Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, and the Usos. Because Falls Count Anywhere. And no disqualification, and no rules, and all that other stuff. So, yeah. I'm going to go with Corbin. Something about, kind of putting Reigns down a few pegs before the Rumble would actually work into him possibly winning the Rumble later as being a little bit more of a triumph and could give him something to do with Corbin because they're not going to end the Corbin feud here. So if you have Corbin win this one and then Reigns, let's say he wins the Rumble hypothetically, then you can have him and Corbin going back and forth a little bit more because Corbin's going to be upset that he couldn't keep Roman down or whatever. So, but yeah, I'm going with Corbin to get the win here through various shenanigans. I don't think it's going to be a clean win. It can't be. It's Falls Count Anywhere. So yeah, gonna go with Corbin to win that match there. So the United States Championship match between Humberto Carrillo challenging for Andrade's U.S. title. I mean, Carrillo's momentum's been dead for a long time. I don't quite think thrusting him into that match immediately is going to help regain anything other than remind us that he's really, really good. So is Andrade. So it should be a very fun match. There's just no real emotional investment. You could tell because when the big reveal that he was behind the mask, which I got to admit, I'm like a lot of people, I thought it was going to be Dominic. I wasn't really looking at the build or the height or anything. I was just like, oh, that's probably Dominic. No. There was no reaction from the crowd. They were just like, oh, it's him. That was basically it. So I'm going to go with Andrade. I don't remember if there's a special stipulation on that or not. It probably is because pay-per-view. But I don't think it's going to matter. I think I think they have plans to keep the U.S. title on Andrade for a while. At least I'm hoping. So, yeah, so I'm going to hold with him retaining. Okay, so the Lacey Evans challenging Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I think they're going to put it on Lacey. And I don't necessarily know if that's the wrong move. I've had some issues with her promos of late. She's still a little green promo-wise. She's gotten significantly more solid as time has progressed with her in the ring. She kind of always showed that she had the ability. It was just kind of putting the pieces together. And I think she's done that pretty well. She's still got a little ways to go, but of course she's very early in her career. So there's really nowhere to go but up with her. And I think Bayley's run as champ has kind of stalled a little bit because it's more about Sasha, really, at this point, which is kind of unfair to Bayley. I don't necessarily know if it's anybody's fault except, well, I mean, I guess creative. Kind of pushing the Sasha Banks part of this has kind of gotten a little bit more heat than the Bayley end. So I would think that if Lacey wins, goes over, which I think she will, then she'll probably, be challenged by Bayley a little bit, and then you can have her be challenged by Sasha, and you can actually have some meaningful matches with them before you figure out exactly where exactly you're going to go with Lacey Evans as champ. But I think she wins, and with the belt, not just wins the match. On to the other show's women's championship, the Raw Women's Championship. Asuka challenging Becky Lynch. This one's a little tougher because I would love to see them put the belt on Asuka just because I like Asuka. I would love to see Becky retain because I really don't want her to lose the first challenge, the first real challenge she's had to her title. The Lacey Evans feud was, Lacey was not particularly ready for that, and plus, with the whole Seth and Baron Corbin being involved too, it really didn't have enough room to build on its own. So, and with the possibility of a Baszler or Rousey versus Becky match at WrestleMania, I don't think they're taking the belt off Becky. I really think it would benefit Asuka to go back to SmackDown and get involved in that title picture right now, because I think the Raw Women's title picture is going to be dominated by former MMA stars. So, yeah. Although with her and Kyrie still having the Women's Tag Team Championship, which we know that Vince doesn't care about tag teams, definitely not women's tag teams, they could still have them, since it's supposed to be cross-brand, fighting with like Fire and Desire, maybe, I don't know, I haven't seen the Iconics in about, months, so maybe bring them back in or something, or maybe with some call-ups, who knows, or even other horsewomen potentially. So there's more, I think there's more to do with the Kabuki Warriors than there really is with Asuka as champ right now, although, like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing Asuka go over. I just don't think she will. I think they're building, this is more or less just give Becky a credible threat to her title going into, either a program with like Baszler or Rousey or whatever they have in store for Becky at WrestleMania. It may still be Asuka. Who knows? There's a lot of possibilities. We kind of see where things are probably going, but it's WWE, so they tend to go this way. It's a whole swerve thing. So, but Becky retains. Which brings us to the Universal Championship match, because heaven forbid the WWE Championship. You know what? I'm gonna scale that back because I kind of like the Lesnar thing. I'll get to that in a minute. The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan. You would think that after all this time that this would be Bryan's moment to go over because of the way the feud's been going, but I really think that it's very similar to Becky, where the Fiend hasn't really had that credible threat. Yes, there was Seth, but he got the title off of Seth, and then no Seth anywhere. So since then, okay, The Miz, really, and then it went right into the Daniel Bryan thing. And I think this is going to wrap up the Daniel Bryan part of it for now, because you've got a lot of rumors saying that it's going to be Roman's going to be the one that finally defeats the Fiend or whatever, and that makes sense. But even without that being there, I don't think they're going to take the belt off the Fiend right now, more or less just for merch reasons. So I'm not going to pick against the Fiend yet. So sorry if I'm a little rambly. I'm kind of doing this on the fly, and it's been a long couple of weeks. So yeah, little out of it, but I've been trying to pay attention, and nothing makes sense in WWE. So that brings us to the Rumbles. I'm going to go with the women's one first, because I don't want to say it's like the least interesting to talk about, because it's not. There's just, there's an angle going with the men's one. So with the women's one, it's a lot more straightforward. It's, just whoever wins and gets a title shot, And a lot of rumors about Baszler, a lot of rumors about Ronda, a lot of rumors about, no, that's about it. Like, there's no other rumors out there. You've got rumored returns, like, just even WWE's YouTube channel, by posting a video about Michelle McCool, they've hinted that she could show up in the Rumble. So you've got a lot more room for surprise entrance, since I think at the time of recording this there have been like 6 people declared for the Rumble. But you can assume that it's going to be everybody who's not Becky Lynch or whoever wins those matches, and everybody else. So from any rosters, you could see Rhea Ripley, you could see Toni Storm, you could see Candice LeRae, you'll probably see Candice LeRae, see Io Shirai, and Bianca Belair. Any of them from NXT could show up. Obviously, you've got whoever's left on the Raw and SmackDown women's rosters as well. So who knows? You could see Kaylee Ray or Piper Niven. Anybody could just show up, but really, who do you really think's going to win this? It's got to be either Baszler or a returning Ronda Rousey. I'm going to lean Baszler because I honestly think that if Ronda shows up, she's either going to be cost her spot or the win by Baszler, or she's going to end up not in the match and somehow helping Baszler. If not, then the other, we may not get a Rousey appearance, although I can't see why they wouldn't, unless she doesn't want to come back. But it would make, story-wise, it would make sense for her to make her return here. So I'm going to kind of lean that way. But yeah, I'm going to pick Baszler or Rousey to win the Rumble. I'm leaning hard on a Baszler win. I'd watch my wording on that. And but I wouldn't be surprised if also Charlotte's there too. So I mean, Charlotte could win, So I don't want to see Charlotte involved in the Becky Lynch title match. I want her kept away from that, just at least for WrestleMania. So I'm going to say Baszler wins, just because I kind of want that to be the thing too. If not Baszler, then I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch with Rousey and Lynch and some sort of actual pin to occur. So that brings us to the men's Rumble. This one's a little weirder because you've got Brock Lesnar not defending the title. I thought when they were first, when Paul Heyman was first talking about it, that they were going to put the World Championship on the line in the Rumble, but no, that's not how that's going to work out. He just, was going to be in at number 1. That sets up so many potential moments. You could have a returning Undertaker moment. I mean, we've seen enough of those, but it would be a nice nod. You could see a returning Goldberg moment. And these, I'm just talking about just what would make sense for people to have showdowns with Lesnar. Cena would make sense. Rumor is Edge is coming back. Don't know what that would have to do with Lesnar. It would just be kind of cool. They teased a Ricochet angle on Monday. You've got the big elephant in the room as far as that goes, which is Matt Riddle. That I'm almost positive that's going to happen. You could see Velveteen Dream show up. That could be his return, and hell, it could be his call-up for all we know. I don't really think it will be, but who knows. But there's a lot of angles that you could play just as far as who's going to kind of collide with Lesnar. And I think it's still going to come down to Roman Reigns. That is my... If Brock doesn't just win the whole thing and doesn't essentially have an opponent and tries to take WrestleMania off, which would be funny, honestly, and then be told that it's WrestleMania, he has to defend the title or he's going to be stripped or something like that, and you could do some sort of angle there if you're not going to go with somebody who's going to challenge Lesnar. Because I have a feeling that, Reigns eliminating Lesnar would be like Reigns beating Lesnar, and then could go on to challenge the Fiend. So my money would be on Roman Reigns to win, because it's about time for WWE to get him back into the main title picture. Whether you want him there or not, it just seems like this is what Vince has been, and the creative team has kind of been building towards. I don't think they're going to use this to make a new star. I think they're going to take someone who they want to put the title on, which is kind of what the Rumble's always been, and just kind of push them to WrestleMania. So I think that it would be Reigns would be my first choice, who I'm going to just officially pick. The way we do it is we pick 3, and we get a point for anybody who's in the Final 4. Anybody we pick that's in the Final 4, you get a point for, and then you get another point for one of those people winning. Drew McIntyre, sexy pick, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I think Drew's going to have a really good showing, and this could be, especially with him being, kind of a babyface now. They've been really pushing a lot of AJ and Orton stuff. I don't think either one of them's going to win, but I could see them having some good moments in the Rumble, because that's the nice thing about the Rumble is that you get little mini examples of feuds either being rekindled or still going or whatever. So you could further feuds with guys eliminating them. There's a lot of talk about CM Punk. I don't want to see it. Sorry, I like CM Punk, but I'm done. So if he shows up, fine. I mean, I'd mark out a little bit, but nothing's really going to happen out of it. I heard an interesting scenario involving him and possibly Cena. I heard another one about him and Edge, Cena and Edge. There's a lot of things with Edge coming back possibly, and I wouldn't mind that. I don't want him to win, but would be fun to see. You're going to have your obligatory Kofi moment, and part of me really wants Kofi to eliminate Brock to get a little bit of revenge, because he's not going to get it any other way. So I don't see them using this to... It's not outside the realm of possibility that they go for Kofi Mania 2, but I don't think they're gonna. I don't think you're going to see Kofi versus Lesnar at WrestleMania, but I hope I'm wrong there, because Kofi deserved a lot better than he got. But yeah, so I would say, you know what? Yeah, I would say Lesnar is, just winning it anyways is not out of the realm of possibility either. So you could have Roman, who's my pick, but I could also see Brock. I could actually see Kofi, and then them just putting that match on first and having it be 9 seconds. So a little upset about that. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. I know this video is a little ramblier and I'm kind of a little off, but I've been doing these not as often and been a little distracted. So, and that's why the video is going out later than I usually do one. But yeah, picks are going to be at the end as usual. And yeah, so I've been BigPapaGrump, and I'll catch you next time. Preferably with a little bit more of a solid view on what's going to happen at WrestleMania.